Good evening, Malaysia. Welcome to another series of Insurance Matters. I'm Lim Ren En, the host of the event. And, we started this show from MCO onwards, throughout MCO. And yesterday I was having a meeting with my digital staff, digital marketing staff. And he told me, boss, you have actually done more than 24 episodes of Insurance Matters and Success Stories. Think back, actually it's quite amazing, right? During a crisis, we actually change ourselves. Let me adjust my seats a bit. Okay. During a crisis, we challenge ourselves what to do. And then came the idea of doing a Facebook live show to actually educate people in depth on insurance knowledge. And the other part was to interview very successful people to come to my show and talk about their life, their career, and their advancement, and why did they become very successful. But today we are talking about insurance matters, right? We are talking about insurance matters. Now, I'm trying to make this session as interactive as possible, right? As interactive as possible. If you do have any questions for me throughout the program, I will try to answer them as much as I can and try to answer them as accurate as I can. Now, so today's topic, it is about how to protect the income of medical doctors. And I have a lot of medical doctors friends. I am married to one. In fact, people ask me, why did you not become a doctor? To be frank, I'm not that bright. That's why I couldn't get into a medical college. I tried my luck, I did 7 A's in PMR, UPSR, 8 A's in SPM, but I only managed 1 in SPM, so I couldn't get into the door. But does that, do I regret not doing medical? In a way, yes. There's a little bit in me that I want to be a doctor always. But did I regret picking up a career as an insurance professional? Not at all. I think every career has their great path. The medical doctors has it, and the insurance career had it. So to actually compensate my disappointment of not being a doctor, so I fall in love with one. And I marry a doctor. So that is why I understand how doctors works. I understand how doctors feels. When you marry a wife, when you marry a doctor wife, you basically listen to all the stories. And I understand how doctors work around the system. Private, government, and all. So I think at this current moment, I have more than 80, I think about 80 doctors who are my clients. Most of them are private medical doctors, and a big portion of them are actually government servants. So I'm proud to actually serve their needs, because doctors has very individual and very special needs. The operation of a private doctor and a government doctor is different. I will explain why. And if you are a doctor, can you give me a 1? Can you give me a response? If you're a doctor now watching my show, there are about 25 of you, 23 of you watching my show now. If you're a doctor, if I know you, can you say hi to me? Press 1, okay? Press 1, say hi, tell me your name, show me your face, so I know you're here with me, okay? So I'm going to dive into that session very, very fast. So, but I just want to remind you, if you like my show, please like my page. And also to tell you, if you like my show and you want to keep watching different section that comes through the weeks, you can actually what we call like and also follow the live broadcast. So when you like our page or when you come to this, Facebook will ask you, please, would you like to follow their live broadcast and turn on live every time? By doing that, every time I go live, you will see me, all right? So, hi Moslin, hi Mizulin, hi, how are you? I believe you're a doctor. Thank you for coming to the show. And hi Noreen, my wife, always, right? Donald, you're not a doctor. Donald is my friend, okay? But Donald, hi, how are you, Donald? So let us go into the subject and talk about how can we protect medical doctors' income, right? So why did I do this? Why am I actually doing this subject today? It is because I noticed that there's a lot of medical doctors who makes a lot of money, save a lot of money, but do not know how to give away risk and manage their business very well. A lot of doctors doesn't understand how to protect their income. When things happens, only they panic, but that is about too late. When things happen, only they try to change how they do their business and try to get the young doctors to come, and help them and all. But that is too late. So the sad part is this: if you run a clinic, and if you're in trouble, say you're sick or you cannot work anymore, the chances are the young doctors will not take over your clinic. The young doctor will ask you to sell the whole practice to me at a very discounted price, and you enjoy and you retire, whatever miserable life you're going to go to. That is a sad story, right? So my experience of my family doctor in Balakong last time, there's a doctor, I don't want to mention name, there's a doctor who lives near my place where we really like to see him because he was very kind, very soft, and very, very, very gentle with my parents. So we always go and see him, but the sad part is that after seeing him for 4 or 5 years, he had cancer and he passed away. That clinic, the wife is also a doctor, runs it for a while, and the wife decided to just shut it off. What happens to the income then? Who's going to pay the mortgage then? Have you done income protection? Have you really sit down and protect your income? There are ways to do it, right? So today I'm going to talk about 3 basic ways simple ways to how to protect your income as a medical doctor, right? So let's just dive to it. Thank you all for coming in. Yes, Donald. Okay. So if you have any question, you can actually ask me. If not, I will just go straight on. If not, I will stop and I shall answer. Let's just dive into the first slide. So, okay, I haven't changed my camera yet. All right, now we are on. Okay, so there are 2 different sectors of settings in Malaysia. I'm talking about Malaysia only. If you're from overseas, I'm so sorry, I do not understand how you work overseas, in England or whatever. But I'm talking about Malaysia only. If you're a medical doctor in Malaysia, there are basically 2 settings. Government settings, you know very well, because you're forced to go through it, and the private settings. So these 2 distinct settings actually complement each other. The government will take care of people who doesn't have a medical card or who can only afford the basic medical care. So government is taking care of probably 80-90% of the whole market. They are the main medical provider of the country, and I salute the government doctors. Why? My wife is a government doctor. She doesn't want us to go private, so I respect her. No problem. I totally respect her decision because she has the heart of serving the people. The private doctors are the ones that comes up private and works in an array of private hospitals. If you're a doctor, you understand this. If you are not, you can listen to me talk technical stories. To serve all private doctors and in all other settings. So I'm going to talk to these 2 groups of medical professionals only today. I'm not talking about nurses. I'm not talking about medical support staffs. I'm not talking about any other thing. I'm just talking to now government doctors and private medical doctors, right? So let me just click this. So now, medical doctors, let's look at the government settings, how that actually it works. Because my wife is a doctor, so she gave me some information how the private, I knew this all this while anyway. I've been talking to all her friends and all that. So the government doctors has a very different, what we call promotional path, right? Every doctor in Malaysia have to go through government. To be frank, let me just repeat that. Every doctors in Malaysia have to go through government. If you agree with me, all the government doctors, please put number 1 for me to see, right? If you agree with me. Okay? So, So every government doctors needs to go through this, right? They either go through number one through the housemanship. This is where they graduate and enter into government practice, where you start your houseman. It's called the labor house. It's called the houseman because you are right at the bottom. You work your shit out, you know. Basically, you work your rounds, you work your everything. You are the labor, the coolie of the whole ranks, right? But you learn the most during the houseman years because that's where you pick up all your experience, pick up all everything. So it starts with what we call a UD 41, right? Then they promote to become a medical officer, UD 44. After their housemanship, they finish 6 different what do you call this, different sector of specialty. Generally, they went through that. Then they go to UD 44. Then they apply to do postgrad. Postgrad means you apply to do MRCB, you try to do physician, you try to do any other thing. It's specialization. That is where they actually goes into specialization. So government actually support a lot of this effort, and a lot of government hospital doctors goes through the normal government path of being a specialist. So they goes into UD 52. Then after that, when they become a specialist, they progress to be senior specialists, to be consultants, to be head of departments, and to do all that. So then they rise to an income bracket of UD 54, or some of the senior guys will become JUSA. So for all of you who don't understand this, don't bother understanding. For all the doctors, they know what I'm saying, okay? Then after that, you become directors of hospital, or you go ahead and serve the ministries to be ministry professionals, like now the Dato Sri Noor Hisham, the most famous doctor in Malaysia. So that is actually the career path of a medical doctor if you serve in a government. So, but the private settings is different. So when do actually government doctors come out to do private? A lot of them will come out to do private right after they finish specialization, or a lot of them will come out government even before that. Some chose not to become government specialists. They chose to become GPs in the private world. So the private doctors actually has a few different settings. Number one, they become general practitioner. After the housemanship, they serve 3 years in the government hospital, then they quit. And they resign and they become what we call general practitioner. All right, so GPs. So all the GP clinics you see, all the GPs, those are GPs. So general practitioner, they are not specialists, they see everything. They see skin, they see lung, they see asthma, they see cough and cold, Panadol, whatever. So those are GPs. But GPs are very important in Malaysia because they are the first level of defense on everything. Every one of us, every Malaysian seen a GP before. So be thankful, GPs are very important. Number two, they serve the private medical doctors, serve the private medical hospital as medical officers, or they become specialists. One, they become specialists in the government hospital, they leave and they become specialists in the private hospital. That is a more normal path that a lot of doctors actually do. All right. Then consultants, once they become a senior specialist, they become consultants, they head a department or they head a small department in the private hospitals. Then medical directors, they become medical directors for various kind of for the hospital. Some become CEOs. A lot of medical directors of private hospitals are doctors. So those are the career path that they goes to. And then the last one will be company medical heads. What is company medical heads? Like AIA, we have doctors who runs the claims department. We have doctors who runs the underwriting department. We have doctors who are medical officer who actually looks at medical reports and all that. So some doctors chose a corporate career path. They didn't want to see patients anymore. They chose a corporate career path and they become company's medical head. So those are what we call private doctors. But today, I am focusing on 2 groups of doctors. Today, I'm focusing on government servants, the government doctors, and I'm focusing on the private medical practice doctors only. I'm not talking about company heads. I'm not talking about doctors who serve in companies as medical directors. I'm not talking about doctors who serve in big corporates, okay? I'm just looking at private medical doctors and government service doctors, those who still see patients and still works in the government settings and still works in the private settings, okay, and see patients, all right? So what are the fundamentals of a government doctor? Like my wife. My wife has a very stable income. A government doctor has a stable, very stable income. If you don't overspend, if you live a normal life, you know, terrace house, a nice car, a nice means like okay car lah, not luxurious, okay? You're guaranteed, your income is stable. Basically, you're quite okay. You're under the government protection, meaning a lot of things you don't have to do. You don't have to worry that people sue you or medical. You will worry lah. But there is always an umbrella to protect the government doctors, right? By the governments, right? And also, number 3, special allowances. They get special allowances. Like my wife is Sarawakian, she gets special allowances. That adds up to the income. And they do not have to worry about business ups and downs. It doesn't matter. Government hospital business is always up. There is no a business downtime for government hospital. Patient is always more than doctors by the hundreds of multitudes. So you don't have to worry about that. They have a very stable income. The last government servant you're going to sack is doctors. I don't think they're going to sack doctors first. That will be the last one. In fact, there's not enough medical doctors in the government, right? And pensions, either they choose a pension, or very good, or EPF. So some doctors chose pensions where they withdraw 50% of their last pay when they reach, say, the age of 60. Then they go into pension, the government will take care of them for life until they pass away. If their spouse is still around, the pension goes to the spouse, which is very, very good. Unfortunately, my wife didn't choose pension, she chose EPF. She thought she's going to go private, but she didn't, right? But it's okay. EPF is still good, right? So, and all government servants, all medical doctors, their family are medically protected. So basically, if anything happens to their family, they are sick, they're not well, you go to the government hospital, you get good class of service and you get priority. So that is a perk of being a medical doctor in the government settings, right? Now, then when in crisis, the government will support in an extended way. All right? When the person is in crisis, the government will support in an extended way. Let me just explain that. Now, if a government doctor had say a critical illness and he cannot work anymore, the government will actually support his income, put you into early retirement and get you into pension and all that. So that is some very good protection there for government servants, all right? So overall, the government doctors are very comfortable. I'm not saying that they live a high life, but they are very comfortable. They are not too stressful. Their life is pretty good lah, not very not poor, but middle upper income class. They are comfortable. Like my wife, she is comfortable, you know. And I've seen a lot of her cousins who are doctors. They are comfortable. They're not very rich, but they are comfortable. So good. It is not bad. It is a lifestyle that you choose, right? So if you have any question, I can answer you, right? Now, the fundamentals of private doctors. Number 1, you're business orientated. If you're private doctors, you know. Business down, you're down. Business up, you're good. So you're business orientated. Profit and loss is important. It's a different ball game already. If you serve a government, if you serve a private hospital, if you always don't admit patients or don't get enough patients, you become a liability. So you must bring in what do you call these patient loads to the private hospital. So profit and loss is important. They need to handle their own risks and their medical needs. The private hospital actually taking care of them in a very marginal level, not everything. So they still need to buy their own medical insurance. They need to still buy their own legal liability and all that. They still need to take care of all that. So your incomes depend on the work you produce. If you're a private doctor, you understand what I'm saying. Your income depends 100% on what you produce. If you don't see enough patients, your income drops. And they are, okay, so how much do they make? They are from high to very high income, okay? And high has a lot of layer of high. When I say high, they are doing very well. So most private doctors, if you look at a GP, most GPs, you know what I'm saying, if you're a GP, Most GP makes good income, and most private hospital doctors make very, very good income. So they are in the very high income bracket. Hi, my wife is looking at me, taking pictures. So retirement. What about retirement for private doctors? Either EPF or private or personal investments. They don't have the backing of governments. They either do EPF or personal investment, house, property, whatever they do. Okay, their work-life balance can be challenging. If you're in private settings, you know a lot of private doctors, depends on what discipline you're in. If you're ophthalmologist, then your work-life balance can be better. But if you're gynae, then your work-life balance can be thrown all the way. Obstetric, not gynae, sorry, obstetric. If you're taking care of women illness and delivering children, you can be your lifestyle can be thrown off balance. So it is very important for private doctors to actually maintain a control of the work-life balance. Overall, they have better incomes than government doctors. Now, but both professional doctors are the same. Professional, private or government doctors are the same. All doctors and professionals, I'm a professional, lawyers are professional, the accountants are professional, the engineers are professional. We have one problem. Our income stream depends on your day-to-day labor. My income stream depends whether I work today. Doctors is the same. Your income stream depends on whether you work today. You stop working, you stop earning. That is the truth. That is the life that we are in. As professional, you're not businessmen. You don't have a factory that runs 24 hours churning money for you. That is one sad part. You stop working, you stop earning. So doctors, you have one problem. You stop working, you stop earning. Like me, same thing. I'm a professional. So we have one problem. We must change the way we do our business from professional, move on to have a system. So I will show you, and I will actually, share with you how actually you can do this. So what will stop you from working? Let's look at a few things that will stop you from working. Number one is premature death. If you either die too early, then it will stop you from working. Number two, if you have minor disability. I'm not saying major. If you're a surgeon, you need both hands to operate a probe. Both hands to operate anything. If 3 fingers or 2 fingers, a doctor told me he needs these 3 fingers only to do a keyhole surgery. But you need both hands. But if you lose 2 fingers, then your ability to operate is discounted. So that becomes a problem. Or you have total disability, the person cannot stand, cannot move anymore. That becomes a bad problem. If the person has serious illnesses like cancer, stroke, heart attack, become disabled, not able to work, on chemotherapy, is vomiting every day, that becomes a problem. You cannot continue to work. When you stop working, you stop earning. Accidents, serious accidents, head trauma and all that. I have a doctor's friend who lost his memory because of a motorcycle accident. Could he continue working? Of course not. What happened to him then? That is one thing that you must look at. Serious depression. Doctors who went through a bad divorce into serious depression. Can you work when you're seriously depressed? You become a liability to the hospital. You become a problem. So that is also one problem. And also medical legal. What will stop you from working? One of it is medical legal. If you don't handle your medical legal well, you lose your license, become a problem. Right now. Or you lose millions of dollars through a claim, patient sues. So that becomes a problem. So what I'm going to try to tell is that if the person is unfit to work, what will happen to them? So if you're looking at the government servants, if you're unfit to work, if you lost the ability to work, lost the ability to make an income, right? You can either choose an early retirement, which the government provides. If the person is critically ill, stroke, heart attack, you can choose a government early retirement, and you get an early pension, right? You will never by time-based promotion, you will never go to that Jusa C kind of level and enjoy your early retirement. You will end, you stop at UD 52, and that's it, 50% of our retirement. Or EPF participant, you can do early withdrawals. But my question to you, where can you work after this? Who will hire you? If you're unfit to work, Can you go to a GP clinic and ask for a job and say, I'll sit here and prescribe Panadol? You cannot. There's no work, basically. You know, unless you want to call the insurance company and be an underwriter or something. But basically, what can you do? You cannot continue to be hired. So if you're unfit to work, for private doctors, what happens? The private doctors have a scarier path if they become unfit to work. They goes into forceful early retirement. This is not volunteer. This is forceful early retirement. You will retire with whatever you have saved up, and that's it. If you have saved up $1 million, and thank you, God bless you, that is that $1 million that you're going to retire with. You may need to sell your assets, sell your clinics, sell your house, all this. And to all the doctors outside, I will do a session on this. Your clinic might not worth as much as when you are working there. If, let's say, Clinic Chan is operating for 20 years and he becomes disabled and he's 50 years old, and when Dr. Chan leaves the clinic, do you think Clinic Chan is still worth that much? Your patient will go next door to Dr. Lee. That's the reality. So it becomes a problem. So when you want to sell the clinic to the next guy, it might not worth that much also. So the question is, what now? What can you do? If you're a private doctor and you have you are disabled and you can't do this job anymore, what can you do with your clinic? Can you sell it at a high price? I doubt it. Can you sell it at whatever you want? I doubt it. What can you do? We must think ahead before things hit us. So today I'm trying to share with you is how actually you can protect your income. Those are the risks and those are the problems. You can actually have a way to protect that income. So every doctor must have a plan B, just in case you lose the ability to work as a doctor. You must have a plan B. If you do not have a plan B, good news, you got time, because you are still well and you are still fit to work. So how much income should I be protecting? Should I work? This is a golden question. My suggestion would be the number of years of your annual income, all right, supporting your last child to the age of 23. So if you have a family like me, I have a 4-year-old child. So if I want to protect my income, I will protect for 20 years. 4 years until 23, 20 years, I will buy or I will prepare some money to protect the income for 20 years. Or in general, if you don't have children, you're just starting out, or you have one child, or all your children is halfway through college, then it's 10 years of your annual income. That's the amount. So put it in context. I met not cardiologist. I met an ophthalmologist recently. His annual income is about 80,000 to 90,000 annually. Monthly income is 90,000. So times 12, he makes about 1.1 million. So how much he needs? He needs about 10 years income, about 10 million. No? So if you are making 30,000, then it's 3-4 million. No? Depends on how much income you make, right? So I'm going to show you 3 simple ways to protect your income. Let's go. What is the 3 simple way? Number 1 is strict and systematic savings. For government doctors, I would suggest you to save 30% of your income on strict behavior. Strict means don't use that 30% and go and buy a BMW or Mercedes. Really strict. If you make 10,000, put 3,000 away. My wife is watching and she's doing more than that. Right? So you see, you must do 30% of your income to put aside for rainy days, just in case things happen. Put aside this money. Number 1, when you put aside this money, it becomes an emergency fund for you, just in case you're unfit to work. Number 2, if you do not need it, means you work until 60 and happily retire, balloon, flower, confetti, everything, then it becomes your second retirement fund after EPF. Nothing is lost, okay? Put aside 30% and save it up. Don't buy whatever that people are asking you to buy. Just put aside this money. So it will help you in the long term. It will take time, but it will help you, right? So for private doctors, I would suggest 50 to 60% of your income as a strict savings, because your income bracket is much higher than the government doctors. A private doctors, a government doctors makes maybe what do you call this? Specialists make probably include allowances 15 to about 25,000. If they do locum, 30,000. But a private doctors can go from 100,000 to 200,000 to 300,000. That depends on how hard he works. So if you have that kind of income, you cannot spend everything on how to spend everything. When you have 100,000, how to spend 100,000 a month? You cannot, because you have no time. The problem doctors, they have no time to spend. If you don't have the time to spend, you must save the money, no? Save 50 to 60% of your income as a strict savings. For rainy days, for what? For business, for emergency business sinking fund. Just in case the person become unfit to work. Alright? Emergency business sinking fund. For the clinic, for the business that you're running, private doctors. Or as a second retirement. If you work until 65, 70 and you confetti happen, retire, party, everything, then it becomes your private retirement fund. Nothing is lost. There's no loss to it. So, number 2, I would suggest private doctors for private clinics build a system around your practice. I can see a lot of private doctors and private clinics, they work day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. They never think, they just work only. You go into the clinic, you see patient, you go home. You come into the clinic, you see patient, you go home. On a precedence of that, you will never get sick one. Or you never had an accident. And that is a very dangerous assumption, my friend. Why? Because luck might not just be always with you. What happens if the person becomes sick suddenly and he cannot work? Who will take over the doctor's chair? That's the next question. Locum. If you're going for holiday for a week, okay lah. 2 weeks, okay lah. 3 weeks, can still. 6 months there? How? 6 months, who is going to sit at the locum chair for 6 months? Do you think the young guy who sit there doing your locum stupid? He will open one next to you if he knows business is very good. Right now. So, 1 year how? 2 years how? Who is going to sit there? So, my suggestion is that you must build a system. Start behaving like a businessman if you own a private practice. Start behaving like a businessman. Build a system and a franchise. There's so many successful franchises in Malaysia. The Mediveron Group, they are very, very successful. They give shares to young doctors to start clinic. But the big boss, the old doctor who started the first one, don't have to work anymore. Doesn't have to go and see patients right now. The Optimax Group, the owner is not a doctor, but the Optimax Group hires a lot of doctors to work. And doctors hire other doctors to work. CVS and all these are very good, very, very famous franchise where the owners doesn't really have to do the hard work, where they hire people to do their work, give them shares and do profit sharing. So you want to build a system, but more importantly, doctors, you must learn how to build a brand. Dr. Chan or Dr. Ng or Dr. Chin, these are brands that you can build on top. Right now. So you must learn how to build a brand so that your brand becomes famous. And if you want to sell that brand of chain hospital, John Hopkins Hospital, just things like that, you want to sell that brand brings a name, the brand brings a commercial value. So you want to do that, build a brand. So after you've done that, then you want to hire younger doctors to run your brand, not run your clinic. Let me just be clear. You want a younger doctor to run your brand. So give example. If my wife, Dr. Noreen, wants to start a clinic, she will start a clinic focused on, say, children and mothers. So she'll build a brand around this name, Dr. Noreen Ho, or Dr. Noreen's Clinic, and build a brand around it and hire people to work for the brand. Then the person cannot take over your name. Cannot. Right now, because the brand is so big already. Like Unfit, so big. Right now, and doctors works in Unfit for the brand. So anything happens to you then, if you have a franchise and a system around your practice, you can sell it, or you can let a professional manager or a GM to handle it. Then you can sit at home, take care of yourself, money will still comes in, and you don't have to work, right? So by building a brand, you want to be free, build businesses. If you really want to be free doctors, please build businesses. Transfer the risk. The third simple ways of actually getting around, right, protecting income is to transfer the risk. Do not take every risk. If you're not transferring your risk, you are taking risk to yourself. Third way, medical legal, the professional indemnity insurance. Have you bought it? Now all government doctors must buy professional indemnity. The private one are doing it, but a lot of government doctors have not started to do it, or they are still thinking how to do it. Call me if you do not know how to do it. I can do it for you. Professional indemnity insurance. Transfer the medical legal risk to the insurance company, right? Don't take it. Don't let the medical legal case, gone into you and make you bankrupt. It's not worth it. Number two, income protection policy. Have you have an income protection policy? A policy that is designed to protect the income of a doctor. Do you know about it? Have anybody told you? If you do not know about it, we can share with you how to actually get around it and do it properly. Do you have enough life insurance and critical illness policy? To my surprise, a lot of government doctors, when they turn private, they are very inadequately insured. I have a doctor who turned private and made 50, 60,000 income a month, told me she have not bought a policy before. That is a problem. You want to think about it, If you have not taken anything, what happens to you if you're critically sick? What happens to your income? And if you're in private, who will take care of you? Do you think the hospital will be, all these big boys hospitals, Subang, Sunway, will be kind enough to pay 6 months your salary? Pay 1 year your salary? Or tell you, don't worry lah, we will take care of you for 2 years. What happened after 2 years? Nobody will do that, right or not? If you stop working, you stop earning. That is a very big risk. So learn how to do this, right? Professional disability insurance. Do you have a professional disability insurance? Do you know that your right hand can be insured at 5 million with less than few thousand ringgit a year? Do you know your left hand can be protected at 10 million at a few thousand, not more than 10,000 ringgit a year? Do you know that your ability to continue to work can be protected? Do you know professionally your disability can be protected by an insurance policy by paying a fraction of it? If you do not know, we can show you how does it works. So what is the easiest and the fastest way to transfer risk, right? What is the easiest and the fastest way, right, between all these three? I was just saying savings, what do you call this, building a brand, building a business, a system, and the last one, transfer of risk. What is the easiest and the fastest way? The fastest way, the easiest way, I'm not saying easiest. Saving is the hardest way. Why? Because saving takes time. You're gonna save 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, 50,000 every month. Save until 10 million. Save how many years? You have to keep saving. But what happens? Luck doesn't come to you on the third month. You only have 150,000 left. So savings, it is 100% model. You have to put in one. There's no discount to it, right? And it takes a lot of time. System. You want to build a system and a franchise around it, can, but it will take time to build. System is not built overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. You need time to build it, right? The third one is transfer of risk. It only take 2% of your savings to do it, and it is an immediate effect. Doing insurance policy, it is still the cheapest, the fastest, and the easiest way to do a protection of your income, right? You can choose to do number one, you can choose to do number two, but it will be smarter for you to do number three. And in the same time, buy time to do number two, then go back to do number one. Can you get me? Do the insurance, transfer the risk to the insurance company, protect your income through the insurance company. Take time to build a system and build a brand for yourself. And then with the money earned, do savings and investment on the top. So you do start from bottom 3, 2, and 1, right? So that is a faster way and a more secure way. So let me just share with you savings. How do you do? This is normal how people save, doctors save money. So if you are 35 years old, you just came out from government practice, you are a specialist. Yay, first year specialist. Gung ho. You come out, you become a private doctor, a small hospital somewhere hired you as their residence specialist. Very good. You get an income and you plan ahead. You want to do some savings for your older self. At 55, you want to retire, or 65, up to you. So you're planning to save some money and some retirement fund, and you are actually doing it for the next 20 years. So you save every month, you save 30%, 30%, 30%, 40%, 40%. You save into this retirement fund. Very good. Very, very, what do you call it, disciplined doing it. Now, then the person becomes sick. Suddenly he had cancer, he cannot work anymore. What happened to your plan? Say on the third year, the person becomes sick. Your plan will be very disrupted. Why? Your banks will be knocking your door. Your house has not paid up yet. Will they keep the cash flowing or not? You stop working, you stop earnings. If you're a private doctor, if you have suppliers, Zulik is knocking your door, right? Zulik Pharma is knocking your door. And other pharmaceutical suppliers are knocking your doors. No cash, no supplies. How? I was in the pharma world for 18 months. I sell for Johnson & Johnson. I know. No cash, no supplies. You stop paying me, I stop supplying you. And the salesman cannot do anything about it. Sales director call the shots, right? So that becomes a problem. What happens to your retirement fund? Do you want to give it to the guy who is 55 years old? But the problem is you cannot even finish your retirement fund. You're still young and you don't have money. You don't have the ability to keep earning. You cannot retire. There's no retirement fund for the guy who is 55. Or you want to use the fund to save your clinic. Prolong it so that hopefully that problem doesn't affect you and you continue working. So that also is a problem, right? So my suggestion is that you transfer the risk. Transfer the risk to us. Let us handle it. Let me show you another way. You're 35, you want to retire at 55. So there's a good 20 years you want to save a retirement fund. The same amount you give to the banks, you pay us, right? And after 20 years, just in case when you started the plan, you become sick. And the banks do the same thing. I want your money back. Suppliers come, I want your money back. I want suppliers, no cash, no supply. All the same problem comes up. But what if the insurance company tells you, we're going to pay you $1 million in cash so that you can actually pump into your clinic and make it going again, hire young doctors to run it, you have time to do your brand, do whatever. And when you retire, we will still give back your money to the 55-year-old. Which one will you choose? So let me show you a simple idea on how to work this out. So today's session is slightly longer. Bear with me. So strict saving, you must save some money, all right? If you are putting in the bank, you can put a fraction with us. You can strictly save some money with us, say $3,000 a month, and then you save for 20 years. You have saved $720,000. After 20 years, your cash account with us, your retirement savings account with us, will have about 1.3 million, nearly double of what you have paid. But in the meantime, we will provide you a life insurance of 2 million, a serious critical illness of 2 million, and also give you an accidental policy of 4 million to keep you afloat, right? Okay, so now if you're sick, if the person is sick and cannot work, we will pay 2 million to the doctor. So my company AIA provide what we call presumptive disability. Means if you're unable, for doctors, if you're unable to work due to any causes, but through unable to do a work through your knowledge, training, and experience, the company will pay. I know a lot of company doesn't pay that. A lot of company wants you to be totally disabled, then only they pay you. But in AIA is not. You just have to look into if you are not able to work by training, knowledge, and experience, the policy will pay. So that is a very, very, very different. If you're sick and you're not able to work, the policy pays 2 million out. And the retirement fund is still intact. Whatever you save 1.3 million after we pay the person 2 million, it's still there. You still retire at 55, take out 2 million. Is that okay with you or not? Right? So there is other ways to do it. So what I'm saying is this is very simple. Let me just go back to this. Right? Do this system the other way around. Transfer the risk to the insurance company first, to medical legal first, to other people first. Do not take up the risk yourself. The young you must go and work. So transfer the risk out to all these companies, right? Then you're young, you take time to build a system, a brand of your own clinic privately. Then you take time to save up. Number one, do it reversely. Don't save first, then take time to build system, and at the end, because of one critical illness, one cancer, one stroke, wipe out the whole thing that you have built. That is not worth the time and effort. So my sharing is until now. If you have any question, I'm more than happy to answer. If we do not have question, we will go on, right? So let's look at this. This is my team. Sorry, my name is blocked, but you know who am I. So this is my team. I'm not a Lone Ranger agent. I have a full team helping me. Mei Wong has worked 11 years with me. He's the head of customer service. He handles all your claims, all your customer service, and all the funny things any client will ask her to do. Okay, she handles customer service. Then I have Pui Ling. Pui Ling handles general insurance only. She handles all your car insurance, all your fire, all your burglary, all your clinic needs, everything on fire, burglary, and general. Pui Ling is the person to see. Then I have Melissa, who handles new business. Okay, who handles new business. Let me just put this up a bit. The camera is blocking. Handles new business. She handles everything regarding about new business and the customer experience. So I just want to tell you, I'm not a Lone Ranger agent. I have a team of dedicated staff that actually helps me out with all my services. And most of my clients are happy with me because I'm prompt, we are efficient, and we are to the dot. If you call us, we will respond to you within a day. If not, within half a day, or if not, within 5 minutes. So if you want to have anything to work with us, if you need to call us, give us a call anytime. I'm more than happy to help you, right? So give us a call anytime. I'm more than happy to help you. My name is there. How to protect your income on medical doctors. My name is on the scroll bar. It's coming out right now. limrenenlive@gmail.com, or you can call me at 016-238-6161. You can find me on Facebook, Lim Ren En Live. You can find me on my website, limrenenlive.com, or you can find me on my handphone now. You can just give me a call, tell me who you are, and let's see how we can assist you and help you in the future. Alright? So hopefully everything will go down with you, and hopefully you live a good and prosperous life. But if you need any help, please call me. I'm more than happy to assist you. This is Lim Ren En Live on Insurance Matter, and I'll see you again on Saturday when we interview Mr. Bernard, a professional trainer. They will teach and train people on sales. So we'll see you again this weekend. Bye.